Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we're going to be talking about our low version of the Conan Clean. I call this one the Conan Clean. I don't know what anybody else calls it, but if you wanted to name it in a technical way, it would be a low double clean to a low gorilla clean or low alternating clean. A lot of ways to say it. We just kind of call these Conan in my gym, but it's because they're super Conan-y. So with this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to have two kettlebells. We are going to do a double swing clean, and then we are going to put the weights back down to the bottom. That's where the low in the low Conan comes from. Then we are going to do our gorilla clean back to low to start back over. These exercises are super interesting because they teach people an athletic skill, which is the basics of timing. Teaching people to time and create different types of power at different times with the same amount of load. And it doesn't seem like it should be hard until you ask people to do it, and it just goes absolutely crazy. The thing that we love about kettlebells is that we substitute replacing load in small definable increments like you do with barbells with complexity. We stick with the same amount of weight, and instead of varying the weight like you do in barbell and keeping the exercises generally the same, in kettlebells, we fundamentally recombine exercises in different orders to create different amounts of complexity with the same weights. Two different strategies, both work, both awesome. So with this, we are going to have our feet outside of our double kettlebell width. You want to go an inch out from that if you want. If your feet are turned out, that's fine if your arches are up. If, when you start doing this, your arches collapse or anything goes weird with your ankles, point your feet straight ahead. If they are still doing something weird, turn them in very slightly 5 degrees. We are going to step back from our kettlebells 12 to 18 inches. We have our handle perpendicular to the flat line of our body. We are going to reach down with two hands, thumbs point back. We're going to hike the weights back. We're going to explode with our hips to bring our weights up. Pull your kneecaps up, squeeze your glutes, push your rib cage down. From here, back to the bottom position, and then immediately into our alternating clean. Bottom, one side, the other side, bottom, double up. Here is the resting point. Down to the bottom. 1, 2, bottom, up. Bottom. 1, 2, bottom, up. Again, we're going to change our lead hand this time. Bottom. 1, 2, bottom, up. The hard part about this activity is the timing part. Symmetrical load, get it to the top. That's the easy part. Once we get down to the bottom, we have to get one side moving while the other side is not. And how you're going to do that is an interesting question. It is not a deadlift. It is not a squat. It is somewhere in the middle how you're going to create that power. I love these because if people are really good at deadlifts and they're really good at squats, then you can throw these into their program because it will confuse the whole thing and they will get stronger between the two ideas. Between the squat and between the deadlift, there lies this wavy space in the middle, which is still hip power and still leg drive, but our crown to coccyx alignment changes from all the way forward to being some type of weird twist. We're gonna have to keep our crown to coccyx alignment as straight up and down as possible to do the alternating movement. If we try to pitch forward while we're doing this, we won't be able to do the high catch. So you're going to tuck your tailbone underneath, verticalize your spine, drive your knees forward. There is a lot of VMO in this exercise, but there's a lot of VMO in all athletics, so we consider it something that's really good to do. So this is a core, let's not say destroyer, because you're not going to be super sore, but these are what we might call poisonous positions. If you do not keep yourself engaged the entire time and you get loose someplace in the middle, because the weights are changing direction all the time, something could tweak somewhere in there. These are more advanced exercises, but they will force you to try and fire your core in more and more complex ways to keep it all under load the entire time. We're always talking about breathing behind the shield, This is forcing you to keep the shield engaged the entire time. Driving your knees out and from your hips to engage the glutes is going to help you protect your lower back in this activity. If during this you are collapsing your knees in at any point, we can just assume that that's bad and that's not going to turn out great over time. So at the bottom of that movement, drive those knees out from up here in the hips for every single part of the movement. Normally people will collapse their knee in when they have turnout and they will go down to one side and their knee and their foot will no longer be in one line. We would like to avoid that at all costs. We consider that to be generally bad and not something that we would like to have be a consistently trained thing. Feet straight ahead, knees drive out from the hips, verticalize the spine, figure out how to create your power from your hip and your leg. It is leg drive and hip snap together. And it's going to change based on what part of the movement you're doing or how long the length of your levers are, which are your legs. This has been Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica.